We're potentially just one win away from a Premier League title, and Callum Jeffries has celebrated that fact by getting involved in the Patreon. Thank you very much for your support, Callum. Thank you very much to everyone else who's involved in the Patreon. If you too would like to support the channel by getting involved in the Patreon, you can do that by going to patreon.com/lollujo. Thank you very much for your support, and Callum, welcome to the Kevolution. Hello and welcome to part 21 of Gunning for Glory. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have two massive away games against two of the best teams in the Premier League. We're away against Manchester United. Man United are the only team who can catch us in our quest for Premier League victory. We're 5 points clear of 2 games to go. If they do anything other than beat us, we'll win the league. That's a massive game. If we do find ourselves going into the final game of the season, still needing a result though, we've got to go to who, until recently, were the third best team in the Premier League, Liverpool. They've just dropped down below Chelsea now and are in danger of not even making it into the Champions League, with both Tottenham and Man City hot on their tails. But hopefully it won't come to that, and we'll be fine. We're on quite a nice little run of victories, as you saw in the last episode when we picked up two games where we scored 4 goals. Kelechi Iheanacho has become a superstar, and hopefully that form continues today. This is the team, he says hopefully the form continues today, forgetting that Iheanacho is not in the team because I picked the team yesterday. Why is Iheanacho not in the team? Presumably he's injured. Oh, he's injured. What's wrong with him? Damaged foot, so he's going to miss the Man United game and maybe even miss the Liverpool game as well. At least he's hopefully going to be fit again for the FA Cup final. So, this is our team for today's game. We've got ter Stegen in goal, a back four of Kolasinac, Christensen, Tar and Bellerin, Diawara and Sanchez are in midfield, and then Iwobi, Ozil and Lamar in behind. Danny Welbeck returning to his old club. And I mean, he's not exactly been shy in front of goal this season with 18 goals. Ozil with 22. There's lots of goals all over the team, and special mention when it comes to goals to Gabriel Barbosa, who I think is probably going to have a go in our team next year. He's been playing for Porto, 12 goals in 13 appearances for Porto. I think Barbosa might be ready for next year. So let's get into today's game, and just as long as we don't lose, we win the league. That's all that matters. Yes, we've given ourselves a good platform. Yes, Danny Welbeck's fantastic. And we'll be fine without Iheanacho. Yes, yeah. Oh, come on now. This is longer than the press conference was. There we go. So, Man United with Lewandowski up front, which is terrifying, and Ibrahimovic on the bench. Oh, Mascherano as well. Will Hughes. I mean, he's the least threatening of all of those. Interestingly, Marcus Rashford not getting in their team, and he's a player who I've tried to sign, well, not tried to sign, I've made one inquiry, but he's constantly on my scout reports. If I was able to pick a young striker, it would be Rashford, and if he's not getting in the Man United team, I wonder if there might be the possibility to go out and splash some cash on him this summer, because we have been given our transfer budget for next season. It's massive again. We're not intending to spend any of it. I don't think I need to go out and buy any players for the first team. There's a few youngsters that I've got my eye on for like 3, 4, 5 million, but probably only 2 or 3 of them, and they're young youngsters. But I don't know. I don't think we need another 40 or 50 million pound player this summer, unless Rashford becomes available, in which case we might go for it. But I'm hoping this will be our first summer where we can end at a transfer profit. If we can avoid any massive signings, which is the challenge for me, but I'll do my best. If we can avoid any massive signings and move Ozil on for big money, I think we're probably ready to start this conveyor belt that we've set up. Move Ozil on, have Asensio and Lamar as his replacements in the centre of midfield, and then promote Kluivert and Barbosa to more regular first team action from their current roles, not really getting involved at all. So there you go, conveyor belt is building. I'm treating it like a long-term save, even though we've probably only got another two seasons tops, I should think. That's probably all we're going to have time to fit in before FM18 comes out. So hopefully we can win the Champions League within the next 2 seasons. All of which, of course, starts today with winning the league. If we can just keep the score as it is at the moment. It's exactly what we wanted from this game at the moment, because I don't even remember there being a highlight in that first half, and we'd be quite happy for the second half to be exactly the same. Highlights means there's a chance of us conceding a goal. No highlights means Premier League title. So if you could all stop being on the screen, although Iwobi crosses. Was that Welbeck or is that an own goal? It's an own goal 30 seconds into the second half. And that, if things stay as they are, means we're 8 points clear going into the final game of the season, which by my maths means we'll probably be okay. Of course, we'll have to double check. My maths have been wrong before, but I think we're probably going to be all right. Iwobi had his little cross come over, and was it? I mean, okay, no, I thought Welbeck was going to feel a little bit hard done by it. In actual fact, Bailey sliding, that's how you say his name? Bailey, it was sliding through him, and Welbeck got nowhere near touching the ball. If anything, Welbeck was fouled before the own goal happened. So I think even if it hadn't ended up going in, we'd have had a shout for a penalty because Welbeck's tackled from behind, has his legs taken out from under him. And I think United are lucky that they've just had an own goal go against them rather than a red card and a penalty. Welbeck is in. It's almost a carbon copy. But this time, Danny Welbeck gets there first, makes it 2-0. Iwobi continuing his amazing form at the moment by becoming provider today. It's a great cross. And Welbeck gets there well ahead of Bailly this time. And boom, 2-0. I think we've just won the league. And it's by Danny Welbeck scoring a goal against Man United at Old Trafford. That's what all Arsenal fans were expecting when Danny Welbeck turned up at Arsenal however many years ago it was. Right, Iwobi again to Sanchez and Ozil. Let's try and make it spectacular now. Let's grab another 2 or 3 and really prove that we're the best team in England. Man United can hear me. And now that man Rashford, who we identified before, is on the pitch. We need to be aware of him. He's lightning fast. And there he is. He's got the ball again. Lewandowski, Mata, Ter Stegen with a fantastic save. And goodness me, if United got some firepower. It's quite terrifying the amount of top quality attacking players they've got. They're similar to us. It's just everyone in their team's 5 or 10 years older than everyone in our team. So they've got really top attacking players at their peak, whereas we've got the ones who are going to be in that position in a few years' time. Ozil's going to come off for Asensio, and we're also going to take off Lamar and bring on Lacazette onto that right wing. I'm just going to swap all of this around. Which, I know Iwobi's been brilliant down that left-hand side, but he's not going to score goals down the left-hand side. He's just going to keep creating. But he might score a goal down the right-hand side, and Welbeck's always effective on that left wing. Lacazette, best as a striker. So, just makes sense to shuffle them all around to accommodate bringing Lacazette on. And now we're going to take off Renato Sanchez as well. Bring on Aaron Ramsey. Swap those two over, because Diawara is almost as good as a box-to-box midfielder as Renato Sanchez is. Ramsey isn't. So we'll swap him over, make Ramsey the playmaker, and hopefully just hold on for these last 10 minutes with Ramsey coming on and adding a little bit of experience to the side. Kolasinac clears, and they've surely not got time to get back into it at this point. Have we all got our Premier League champions party trousers on? Because we've won the league, everybody! Oh, and there's a merch idea. Premier League champions party trousers. Make sure you let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in buying a pair of those. And now we go into our final game of the season against Liverpool, where we just want to put a rubber stamp on everything before we have the FA Cup final tomorrow. What a season. Hang on a minute. What's this? Arsene Wenger gets a £1.5 million bonus because we've won the Premier League. Where's my bonus? What am I even earning? I'm the manager who's masterminded it. After he's been clowning around all this time. Okay, to be fair, I'm on 100 grand a week, so I'm not shy for a few quid, but £1.5 million bonus, and all he's done is sold our wonder kid left back out from under me. So, final league game of the season with the Premier League already won. It's time to just have a little mini experiment. It's not a big experiment. We're just doing a little bit of rotation. We've got the FA Cup final to think of, plus a couple of youngsters that we want to take a look at as well. So Ospina comes in goal just to give Ter Stegen a rest. Mustafi, we're going to try him again at right back. We've tried it a couple of times. I'm trying to establish whether we need a proper backup right back or whether that can be a role that he can sort of cover for us for the next season or two. So we'll try him out there against some good opposition in the shape of Liverpool. Ramsey comes back into midfield just to give him some game time and give Diawara a rest. And then we've shuffled the front four around completely. Lacazette back in up front because he hasn't played there for a little while despite scoring a decent number of goals earlier in the season. Asensio comes in behind him because that's probably where he's going to be playing next year if we can move Ozil on. And then we try our two promising young wingers, Nelson and Kluivert, on either wing. Obviously Barbosa then goes into that club as well when he comes back. We have lots of promising youngsters on the wing. Let's give them some game time against decent opposition in a game that we don't need to win. Although if we do win it, we just had a media report through saying if we win this game, we'll finish with Arsenal's highest points total ever, which is, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I assume they must have drawn a lot of games that year. They were unbeaten. Although we've only lost 2 games all season, so I'll have to have a look back through to see who we lost against and when it was, because if I've managed to throw away the chance of a second invincible season on one version of Football Manager through a silly team selection somewhere, I'm not going to be very happy about it. Hopefully we just lost like the 3rd game of the season and it was never on. We were 1-0 down after less than a minute and James Milner scored. So it came down the right-hand side. We're blaming Mustafi for it. Let's see if it's actually his fault. I mean, he could have intercepted that. I think that's him. Is that him? Or is that... Yeah, that is him. He's got number 20 on his back, hasn't he? So he perhaps could have done a little bit better. But we've got plenty of time. We've got these youngsters out wide who are going to show a little bit of magic in the second half. We need to get the number 72 shirt off of Reece Nelson. We actually took it off him last summer and left him with no squad number allocated. And then when it came back to doing auto allocation again, it reallocated him the 72 without me noticing. So we need to give him a proper squad number because I can't have a player with number 72. That's just silly. And I imagine next year, if all goes to plan, Reece Nelson's going to start playing a few more games because we need to start getting him in the team to continue his development so that he can go on to become as good as we're all expecting him to be. Because there's every chance he could end up being the best of the bunch with all these young wingers that we've got. And if nothing else, at least he's English. So when it comes to having a little bit of an issue around homegrown players as they all start to get a little bit older, at least he's going to be in the homegrown club. And depending on what Brexit we get, that might be incredibly important. So we need to make sure he develops into the kind of player he's capable of being. Right, we need to get back into this game. It's still only 8 minutes on the clock. There's been an awful lot of highlights early on. Both teams have had clear-cut chance. Liverpool have had shots galore. And I think we're fairly lucky to still only be 1-0 down. But we need to get our act together and score a few goals because we've got plenty of firepower on the pitch. We should be able to grab a few goals. If Asensio can't play well in a game like this, it does raise a few question marks over whether he's going to be the man to replace Ozil next season. Reece Nelson has now had 2 clear-cut chances in the first 15 minutes and missed them both. So that ties into what I'm saying about him needing development time because he's getting into positions but not finishing them off the way we would hope he would as a proper Premier League standard winger or inside forward. We don't really use wingers. We're now 2-0 down. And again, it's come from that right-hand side. So we're going to continue to blame Mustafi for it. And perhaps a right-back needs to be on our shopping list for the summer. You know how much Kev likes to buy a right-back over the summer. And I might actually get an opportunity to here. We probably need to strengthen fullbacks on both sides. Because once we get past Bellerin and Kolasinac, we don't really have much else. Monreal's 1,000 years old. So we need to be moving him on. They've hit the post now. I mean, we've not rotated that much. I mean, yeah, we're missing a few key players, but that's a back four that we could have easily put out in a game where we're picking our first choice back four. Ospina's not disastrous. The midfield, Ramsey's supposed to be a good Premier League player. Yeah, he's no Renato Sanchez, but he's a good Premier League midfielder. The only place we've really gambled is on the wings. But even there, that shouldn't be causing us to concede as many goals as we are. Look how many shots we've conceded. 43 minutes on the clock, and Liverpool have had 16 shots, 11 of them on target. I just don't understand how that's happening. It's like the players have just switched off. We've won the league. We've got the FA Cup final coming up. The boss has rotated the team a little bit as well. Let's just switch off and not worry about Liverpool. They're only the 3rd best team in the country. People are going to accuse us of this being tactical because Tottenham are the team sat in 5th place. So it's like we're deliberately handing Liverpool a win to make sure Tottenham don't get into the Champions League, which, to be fair, if I was Arsenal manager in real life, that would probably be a wonderful thing to do to get myself over with the fans if I wasn't already after just winning the Premier League. And we're now 3-0 down. What I'm hoping isn't happening is that we're not going to be... If we do get completely thumped, like it looks like we're going to, is that then going to put us in the wrong frame of mind going into an FA Cup final? We're playing Newcastle, who, I mean, they're in the top half of the Premier League. They're not an easy sort of pushover result. So hopefully we're just having a little bit of a mental rest ready to go into that Newcastle game. I guess what it does allow me to do is absolutely roast the players in the press conference after this game, just to keep them on their toes going into the cup final. So I guess it might even end up making them a little bit sharper for the cup final than they would have been if we'd have just cruised to a victory in this game. But we need to make some substitutions to show them that what they're doing today is not acceptable. So we'll bring all these lot on, and 3 changes. Get some of the players who've been so important over recent weeks back on the pitch. I mean, they're probably 3 of our best players, Diawara, Iwobi and Iheanacho, based on recent form. So hopefully bringing those on will spark a little bit of life into us for the last 15 minutes. Not that it really matters because we've already won the league. But, you know, psychology and all that. Ospina, I think, is probably the big weak link here. He says, on a team that have now conceded 28 shots in the game. It's not Ospina's fault at all. They've had 4 clear-cut chances and he's only conceded 3 of them. They've had 16 shots on target, so he's made 13 saves. I think any game where he makes 13 saves, you can't really blame him too much. But that was pitiful. And hopefully it won't continue in tomorrow's episode when we have an FA Cup final. If you've enjoyed that and if you want to celebrate a Premier League victory, please make sure you pop. I mean, let's do a double thumbs up. If it's possible, let's find a way to do it. 2 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.